Hello, welcome to Piece of Pat Paints. I'm Pat, the painter of the pieces here on the channel. I guess in the star. Although I prefer to think of the miniatures as the star, or the projects we paint. We have painted other things. Sometimes it's models. Matter of fact, I think I really want to get to this Batmobile model. But I don't know. I also think I may have finally dialed in this camera enough to start working on this giant, but I really think we need this other camera. So we're cruising towards this new camera. We're close. The last show paid for new shows, basically. Oh, and we have a pressure pot. This thing is really cool. It's heavy, so I'm not gonna bring it over here. But it's really neat. And I like the castle back there. And I think I'm gonna move my air compressor over there, so we can run that, and I may set that up to be a painting area. I'm not sure. I have a lot of things that we can do in this room. A reorganization maybe of the tool wall to get it a little bit more geared towards like what we do here on the channel, and a little bit less towards my construction tools for building things around the homestead, because we live out on a decent little chunk of property, and there's lots of modifications we're constantly making here. So, it's fun. It's really cool. But I don't know that I necessarily need all that stuff up on that wall. I can probably take some stuff down. Anywho, there's all that. Oh man, I've got all sorts of stuff over here. I gotta get that out of the way. Let's make fun of me while I do it. There we go. You get up there. And boom, open sign. Alright. So we got all these guys. I was working on gluing together these well, it would be called a Yuan-Ti in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not sure what they've called it. There's a few little blemishes I gotta clean up. These prints they came out pretty okay, except for they've got a couple of places where, like, it's hard to, let's see if I can get it. There we go. So you can see these bubbles here. This is from what I was cleaning it with wasn't it wasn't pure enough. They're using alcohol to clean it, and it just wasn't quite pure enough. So, it just kind of leaves this little bit of a bubbly look instead of it being clean and clear. So, gotta figure out what's going on in here and clean this up. It looks like it's just a little bit of the chain he had just kind of got malformed here. So we might be able to fix that with paint. We might have to add a little bit of other stuff to it. Be super careful doing that sort of stuff. We're going to break it. And we are trying to break it. We're trying to break it on purpose. So anyway, as you can see, there's always a lot of cleaning that needs to be done with these things. It's not always super easy, which is why if you're buying resin miniatures, this is why they don't cost just pennies to buy, because they don't cost very much to print per se, but they do they do cost money to or time to detail out and clean. Like this one came out pretty okay. She's looking pretty good. I kind of like that this has females. I have 2 females. I have one in this snake version, and I have one in this snake version, along with other ones. And I gotta get their weapons on them. So then these are all Artisan Guild figures too. I really like this idea of painting, getting to where we're painting a lot of the stuff we're licensed to paint and sell. I mean, you're licensed to paint whatever. I can paint whatever on here. People don't care. But to sell it, like, it either has to be something you purchased third party, or it has to be so that everybody made their money off it. So, like, yeah, if I were selling Reaper pieces or WizKid pieces, that would all be legal. But if you're gonna sell this sort of pieces, you need to have a license to sell it. I mean, legally. I guess you could do it illegally if you wanted to, but that's not really always a great idea, y'all. Like, you don't want to do that. That's not something you want to do. Well, I mean, maybe it is, but you shouldn't. That's not being good. That's taking advantage of artists and their things, and it sucks because, like, I can't sell loot. So like this piece right here that I'm working on, this is loot, and they do some really amazing stuff. So like I can't sell this because it's a loot piece, but it's so pretty. It's so fun. I love this guy. He's gonna go on my dashboard in my car when I get him done. So we got a lot of work. I gotta fix that little blue on here. Yeah, he's got a lot of work left to go on this guy, but he's gonna look great. Just some little phoenix feathers. So anyway, he's pretty cool. At least I think he is. Alright. We're supposed to be painting stuff here. Like 7 minutes in, I haven't painted a dang thing. Everything looks running properly. I'm gonna pull these out and review these. I'm a little discombobulated today. I'm really excited about all this, and then I'm also really excited about vacation. So like I'm in a spot. Okay, so I'm gonna start working on all the highlights. Brush is probably too big for this. Come down. It seems like you just keep painting over the same thing over and over and over again. Which, I mean, yeah, you kind of are. But when you do it in all these little stages like this, it makes it to where all your depth of color pays off. Like in the end, you'll have you'll have an effect where it just looks more real, and it'll look more hand painted. That's another, like, it sometimes you can see paint jobs where they look too hand painted, and sometimes you get paint jobs where they look like they were painted by a machine. You know what I mean? So like there's a limit, and everybody's kind of got what they want, and it's their stuff to look like, and it's always different. So you know, if you want it to look, if you want to look super hand painted, you want it to be more like comic book style and stuff like that. You can really see the brush strokes in those styles. You know, and this is kind of in between. This is where it's going to have some realism to it, and then some, you know, a little whimsy and a little bit of a brightly colored. You know, I've got some bright colored stuff. I still want them to look like game pieces, but I do want them to have a little bit of more of that realistic depth. Hello, Sir McBeardsly. Good to see you there. Highlighting and detailing today. Get this handle. It's already starting to get my hand cramp. Oh, we're going to do these claws, which I did look at the claws, and I made them kind of like a reddish color. I'm pretty sure we used this red. It's kind of more like a fade. Really thin here. We want to make sure we're not obscuring the details. There's lots of details in it. So we're using a very thin paint here. And I will say these look way better than my original version. This is basically like red, like crimson red wash. This fish is dry is pinkish. On top of that other one, so you get kind of this coral pink. Careful, because we don't really want to put it in inside the barnacles, because he's got a few barnacles here. We don't really want to get in the barnacles. all is well on your side of the world, my friend. I know that's not very far from here. Well, we're getting pretty close. Probably when we get back from vacation. I have the pot is back there. The pressure pot's there, over there. It's huge, man. You know what? Let me take a break. I gotta let my hand rest anyway. Take a quick break here, and I'll go grab it. This thing's awesome. So this is a pressure pot, and it's you can, these are the locks. So when you put pressure in it, you want to lock it down. So those will come off, and there's 4 of them in the whole thing. And you know, so you plug it in to one of to one side, and you turn on up the pressure in here, and we put dice inside there, and it'll. Wait. And it'll make, well, and that one's not even a big one. That one's like a little, like one you would use for, like, if you were going to be walking around doing a pressure pray, and you were trying to walk with it on because it's got a hook to hang out on a little cart, and you like move it around and stuff. But they make them so big, they make really big ones that you can, that's a 2.5, but you can buy up to a 10 that you can have for like home use, and a regular compressor can handle. I have a compressor outside that would probably be able to handle one of the 50s, but you wouldn't have room for that in your house. You'd have to have it like a shop, like, because it gets real big, because it's got to be big enough to hold the pressure inside of it. So, for anybody who doesn't know how it works, that's the basics on how all that works. All right. Let's get my head back to the right size. Let me get back to work. Stretch my hand just a little bit. I did a lot of extra work yesterday. I worked a lot on that wizard yesterday. In case I don't think you know. So yeah, he's looking really, really good. It's working product just went today anyways to show it off. So yeah, he looks great. Painting. Oh, hey, right on. We got another painter. Castle R3. Hello. Hey, I'm painting as well. Lexi ships. Got this on in the background. Hey, I like it. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Black Sheep ships. Hey, that works out great. I've got fish guys that are ready to raid your ship. I love it. Awesome. Well, appreciate you. I'll have to go see what you got going on over there. If you post them. If not, drop anywhere you do post them. I'd love to see it. I really find other people's work super inspiring. Kind of helps to. It helps kind of. Sometimes people do things that I don't think of. Like what they've got going on is just a little bit different than what I've got going on, and sometimes I can just come up with a new idea and be like, "Ooh, I never thought about doing it that way." So I appreciate all types of paints, even if it's styles I don't particularly care for. I like it. I like watching it because sometimes, maybe not the overall style is my style, but I can usually find something they do and be like, hey, I like that little technique or whatever. It's good for craftsmen and artists to collaborate. It always is. But yeah, things are going pretty okay out here. Going to do vacation. Just another warning. I will not be on. Let's see, Monday, Tuesday, and probably Wednesday of next week. I will be gone. but then we'll be back. I'll post some. I'll post like some. I'll post some fun updates and stuff while we're out. New Mexico's a neat place, so we'll be able to show off stuff. We're going to some pretty neat spots. Now Wolf's really crazy. If you don't know anything about that joint, it's like an artist collective where they've kind of built an installation, and there's like this. There's like a story that you're trying to solve, and it's pretty cool. It's a really neat little like art idea. They have one in Texas too, and it's okay. It's pretty, you know, it's not bad. So it'll be interesting to see the differences in between this one and that one. And you know, they update them a little bit all the time. So like I said, it's going to dry like a pinkish color, almost like a coral pink. It kind of looks like they have little life preservers on it, which I love it. I'm kind of a goofball like that. I love the idea of having little life preservers. Couple things to work on here. And this guy has a tabard on him. Not all of them do. So I gotta figure out what color I want to make that tabard. While I throw my brush on the floor. Because, yeah, now. That's the life of a miniature painter. You don't throw a brush on the floor at least like once a month here. You're probably not really doing that much painting. God. This guy doesn't actually even have any of the other green I need. Oh, we need to figure out what to color them. That's definitely some sort of a metallic piece we can put in just for fun. Something blingy. We got teeth and tongues. This tongue pink. No, then we'll put a thin red on it. But fish miles are usually pretty like a bright pink. It's kind of weird if you've ever been fishing. Too thick. Remember, for those of you following along. If you're trying to replicate my stuff, I use a super thick paint, so make sure you're thinning them down. These are all gold. All of these on this palette are golden, and these are new pieces of paints. So they definitely have a much thicker viscosity than a standard miniature paint. Boy, I was having trouble getting that one out of my head. So yeah, we'll start off. That's a pale terracotta, Winsor Newton. And remember I will try to give out whatever color the company named it. So if it's but a lot of these are art, like standard art colors, so it's easy to find versions of it. But if it is a Citadel product or something like that, I will use the Citadel. There. I say that. I think I say this like every episode. Anyway, their names are hilarious, and it's all marketing. And we should have a Citadel paint. I'm like, why?
I should like look it up, and we should talk about like why different paint companies call different things what they are, and the differences between like, so like if you buy, say you buy titanium white from one company, it's going to be close to the titanium white from another company, but it's not going to be exactly the same. Like, okay, so here's Golden's titanium white, and this is titanium white by Liquitex Basics. Okay, these are both supposed to be the same white and the same consistency, right? They're not. Okay, they look very similar. Basics and Golden. But when you paint with these two paints, because they look almost exactly the same, but when you paint with these two paints, they have a very different thickness to them, and the medium that's inside of the paint with the pigments is slightly different. The dry times are different. The opacity is different. This blends better than the Liquitex Basics. If you're trying to like fade something from one to another, this is going to be a much better paint to use than the Liquitex Basics. Now, if you're trying to cover something white and have just done with it, the Basics is the way to go. But like, you can even see it on that tower, not from that camera. But I used the Liquitex on some of it, and I used the Golden on the other, because I had some Golden out on my palette, and I used it. And you can tell the difference between the two different paints. You can tell. You know, that's splitting hairs or discussing squirrel droppings or whatever. But there is a difference, and that's in quality. But then, like, in between like two different quality works, you might have a little bit of a difference. So like in, say, Golden versus Winsor Newton, they're both, you know, higher end, well made, well used artist, professional grade products, but there is a difference. Golden is just a little bit better than Winsor Newton, in my opinion. I think their pigments are better. I think their medium is better. And there'll be maybe just a slight difference in some pigments between one company and another. So like an Alzarian Crimson, like this one right here, this Alzarian Crimson, that's a standardized color. This version of this Crimson might be different from another company. So this one's the Golden. If I found it in Winsor Newton, it might be different. This one's kind of glossy. The Winsor Newton might not be glossy. There's just a bunch of different small things to paint that people I don't think they realize is going on. It might be interesting to do a little bit more digging and bring that out for people. Just a maybe conversation starter, something to discuss while we're painting. Well, I had a lot of viewers yesterday too, so thanks for everybody who's watching. Really appreciate you. If you are watching and you kind of dig what we're doing over here, give us a subscribe. Hit a like on the video. Drop that sub. That stuff's great. Really gives me a good kick to the dopamine. And it also helps us move this stuff around. I mean, I'm an older, more experienced painter. There's a lot of younger guys trying to get in the hobby. And I got four kids, so I kind of know a little bit about how to talk to younger folk and teach them a little bit. It just seems like a great thing for the channel. Might get some miniature sold too. You never know. Which is really the goal, right? That's really the goal. Get some miniature sold. And we don't want to brighten this up too much. This is kind of
in the shadows, which is why we definitely left it dark even after that zenithal. But we do want to bring a little bit of that color back. And Payne's Gray takes a little bit away. Between highlight and the wash and really working our way through all these depths. Color scheme. And that's another thing I really recommend you pay close attention to your color theory. If you're newer to painting, watch some videos on color theory and how colors blend together and what colors coordinate well with what. Don't simply rely on what you think is going to look good. Because you're going to be right for a while, but eventually you're going to be wrong. I should actually ink the inside of that out enough to make it look wet. So, Indian inks have a nice, Indian inks have a nice, shine to them. So they work great as a gloss if you don't want to have to buy, a lot of the miniature painting companies make glosses, but they're super expensive. I think you can buy an entire set of PH Martins for the price of 2 bottles from Citadel. So definitely, watching your cost is the way to go. That's another thing about buying the more artist style supplies versus buying, something from Citadel. Is that you're gonna be able to get a little bit more bang for your buck, but you've got to you might have to get a little bit more used to using them. I should say more. You'll have to be used to using them. More is the improper term there. Because you're definitely going to get used to it. Alright, now while we've got that in there, I'm going to just pop in a little bit of highlighting and blend it as I'm going. Sir McBeardsly's got some ideas. Get this a little bit done and I will read it. Oh yeah, put some teeth in there. He can look great. Alright, let's see. If you start doing shows often when you're selling stuff and it's going well, it could be cool to eventually set up where you are and record. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Yeah, that's a I'm glad you said that. It's always nice to have a confirmation online. You get an idea and you're like, I don't know. But hearing somebody else say that would be something to watch. I've been thinking about that would be kind of a cool thing. Or at least, even if we just do it for a little while, even if we're just live and walk around, it'd be cool to be able to I should do videos where we walk around and talk about everybody or anybody's booths who wants to let us talk about them or something like that. That would be a cool thing to do. And help other people at the expos and other shops and stuff. Because most of those people at those expos, they're not doing what we're doing. It's Oklahoma, so it's mostly crafts and stuff. But man, I was getting a stink eye from this one dude. He made these little. I shouldn't tell this story. I'm going to tell it anyway. But it's not. I'm not. I don't want it to sound like I am making fun of this guy. I feel like maybe. He just had a bad run that day. But nobody was. He was right across from us. I mean, not right across, but a little bit over. Because right across from us was this baseball guy, and I think that's who was really making him mad. But we just happened to be across from him, so he was stinking at us because we were selling stuff and he wasn't really selling anything.
But you know, they're actually kind of cute. They're these little like pickup trucks made out of wood that had where you had a succulent plant in a truck bed. It was pretty cute. But like nobody was really buying it. Just was rough watching that poor guy. But anywho, yeah. It'd be neat to be able to like come walk around and maybe sell something or help people sell their stuff by advertising. It'd be neat. Anyway, such a weird. Pull a little bit more of this phthalo blue. Let's see. Cool edit, record show, interaction with people. Absolutely. Yeah, I think we need to have like somebody who really like wants to film it or knows more about cameras and stuff. Yeah, right. That's what I said. That's what I kind of felt like. Well, it was weird though, because like it should have been his demographics. Yeah, Pokemon cards are super popular like that right now. Even my oldest son, who has no interest in Pokemon whatsoever, has been buying Pokemon cards just to sell them to other people. Which that sounds like my oldest child. He's always like, why are you? I always ask him, why? He's like, for money. No. So, are you gonna play the game? No. I'm just. It's like, do you even know how to play the game? No. Do you even know what any of these cards are? No. Literally just buying them to resell them. I was like, son, you're a scalper. He's like, no, I'm not. He says, I only buy like 1 or 2 packs. It's not a big deal. He's not like those guys saying, I saw this, man. Listen, y'all. I saw this video the other day where homie was standing at this kiosk, right? Because apparently there's like Pokemon kiosks, yeah. So this dude was standing at this kiosk, and he just kept buying out these cards. And this other guy was like, bro, I want to buy some cards. Please buy out the whole thing. And the dude legitimately was there to buy out the entire kiosk worth of cards and was not going to let this other dude have it. And like they went to blows, bruh. They was swinging on each other over Pokemon cards. I was like, man, this is getting crazy. This is getting like those Beanie Babies, y'all. People are fighting each other over Beanie Babies. Sir McBeardsly says, let's see. Sir McBeardsly, I gave all my Pokemon cards to a kid. I kind of want to collect them again, but I don't want to drop an exorbitant amount of money on them. My girlfriend is already on me about my magic cards. Yeah, you have a lot of magic cards. And Castle R3 said, Pokemons are getting repopular out here. Yeah, for sure, bro. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know that you need another thing to collect there, Sir McBeardsly. You've got plenty of things you That's funny. I like your girlfriend more and more all the time. McBeardsly says, yeah, those kiosks are supposed to have a hard limit where you can buy 1 or 2 things per interaction to make it fair. Yeah, so like what this guy was doing is he had multiple bank accounts. And so the machine doesn't actually know that it's a different dude. It just understands it's a different card. And that's where, like, if I remember right, the store got involved and moved them out of the area or something. Or moved them out of the store to finish their little altercation. But it was funny. I don't know. I don't know that I actually watched the thing. Honestly, I don't know if I finished watching it. I think I got to to where they were like finishing up the interaction, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. That's all I needed to see. Okay, just getting a little bit of blue back. Really trying to not disturb any of our deep edges. We want those deep crevices. We want those to stay nice and dark. We don't want to erase the work that we did with our washes and stuff. We do want to kind of bring them out.
his mother gave him such a nice face. So we gotta show it off for his mother. His mother. And his father. Hello, mother. Hello, father. So we're just kind of bringing a little bit of some of that color back in places where we feel like maybe we need to drop some highlights and such. This part can often be what feels like the most tedious. I think a lot of people, maybe this is where they tap out to. Like this is where they're like, yeah, I'm good. I was there too. When I was painting mainly just to have pieces on a table that we could play with, I usually would get to this point and I'd be like, oh yeah, no, we're solid work. Let's just call it. Too dark to worry about. Ooh, teeth. Okay. Deep breath, deep breath. Collecting is so much fun. Yeah, but you gotta have a line, man. There's a line. I mean, I feel like it's fair. You want to give up one or give up the other. Or if you start making money doing it, you know. Like I promised myself I wouldn't get another subscription until I was making money at miniature subscription. Until I started making money selling miniatures. Because it got out of hand. I had way too many subscriptions. I was paying like $100 a month for subscriptions I was barely using. I still don't think I printed off a single one of my sci-fi things. I had a sci-fi subscription for months. That's why you always let your layers dry. You make a mistake, you can clean it up quick. Because every now and again your hand's just going to jerk. You may not even be the reason it jerks. They may have bumped you. Heck, it could be out here it could be a really loud airplane. Sometimes they're not supposed to do it over here anymore, but sometimes those flyboys will still break the sound barrier out here and it'll rattle the house. It doesn't bother me any, I don't mind. But I know it makes some of these HOA people mad as hell, and I'm alright with that. No offense to anybody that likes HOAs, but it's totally not my jam. Alright. We got himself a little shed of white pearlies there. War. Well, it popped in. Thank you, Steve, for getting that focus on there. For those who don't know, Steve's my computer. I talk to him a lot because, like, a lot of times I'm here by myself. Well, not anymore. Sir McBeardsly usually here, but in the beginning, it was just me talking to the screen. So I had to start talking to I had to name my computer, and so the computer's name is Steve. Nice light run of the Zelzerian Crimson. Now I gotta figure out what color I'm gonna paint that tabard down there. I guess we can mess around with the weapon a little bit. The hook. The hook brings you back. I think they're coming, Blues Traveler. That's right, band. Yeah, that's right, band. Coming to Oklahoma City pretty soon with the who was that? The Gin Blossoms and somebody else. Spin Doctors. Almost can't be wrong. And Two Princes, that was their other big song. Two Princes. 90s bands. The 90s was an interesting time to be alive. Oh, if we only knew what was in store for us. I feel like every generation goes through that. My kids were playing some sort of video game and they're like, whoa, and at each other. I don't know what they're doing, but man, it sounds weird as hell in here. It sounds like Goku is fighting Vegeta or something. Kids are hilarious. Call me. Next episode. Call me. Next episode. Yeah, yeah, they're way in the other room, but they're so loud you probably can hear a little bit of it through the mic. I don't know what they're doing. But let them do it, man. It's summer vacation, right? You only get so many summer vacations. You only get so many school summer vacations, and then it's over. And you have to be an adult, and that sucks. I try to keep them pretty in line on a lot of things, but I still like to let him be a little bit of a kid. This one's wild. This is one of the ones with the strangeness to the print. So it has these little micro lines in the hook. It almost looks awesome. Yeah, as long as they're not hurting each other. Yep. As long as nothing's getting broken and nobody's really actually hurt, we're doing just fine. That's real. That's real. Brighten up all that, and we'll edge this up. So tiny, those little barnacles are so itty bitty. Really gotta take your time, make sure you're breathing. You might find yourself holding your breath. If you do, stop. Take your breath in, exhale. Maybe do it a couple times, then come back. If you catch yourself holding your breath, then you've probably been doing it for a little while. And you're going to end up shorting off the oxygen to your brain, which is actually going to make this harder. So that the more oxygen you deplete yourself of, or deprive yourself of in that situation, the more and more difficult it is going to be to operate a fine brush. Real fine paintwork. So there is a method to my madness. I'm not just telling you this thing's for your health. It really is a phenomenal painting. Make sure to breathe. This guy's even got barnacles on his thighs. Take care of your hands. If they feel numb in any way, always take a break. I'm putting in all my service announcement here as we're wrapping up for the day. He's pretty dang close. We'll come in tomorrow. We'll do his eyes. We gotta figure out what we're gonna make that little tabard. It's interesting. I picked this guy first, the one guy, because I think he's the only one with a. Yeah, the rest of them all have like seaweed tabards, which I have a way I want to color those. Yeah, he's the only one with like a cloth one. He's the odd man out. I don't know. That's weird. So anyway, we got to figure out what kind of color we want that cloth to be. So, and then we'll maybe we can do a blue. We can do like pull out phthalo blue in there. Got a lot of other greens anyway. Like a bright blue, powdery maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Boom, there we go. Awesome. Well, glad we had some folks stop by. Thank you so much, Sir Castle R3. I'll check out your channel here in just a second. I don't know what my phone is. Also, I do it right now. But yeah, I'll just see what you got over there. Good luck with the black ships. I hope I get to see them. I definitely down to see that. I love pirate ships and stuff. I'm a huge fan of them. I was actually building one out of. I'm building one out of cardboard because I'm like a super weirdo. So I'm like building my own pirate ship out of cardboard. It's even got all the real ribbing in it, just for fun.
I don't know that part's super necessary. I don't know that you need to actually put all the ribs in like that. It was fun to do it, so I've got all sorts of ships. My grandfather liked to build ships. Building ships are cool as hell. Building and painting ships. So yeah. We'll be back tomorrow. We got tomorrow and then Friday and then vacation. So I remember we will not be having our weekly hour on Monday, Tuesday, and probably Wednesday. I don't think we're going to be back before 10 o'clock in the morning, just to be honest. So we'll be back sometime. We'll be back on probably Thursday. So just so everybody knows where I am, like I said, I'll throw out some little videos and stuff like that, just to kind of keep everybody kind of updated what we're doing, because that's me. And I might do all these guys' vests and all these claws just to have them done, and then we can move on to all the other little details tomorrow. So we're not like, because there's a lot, you're doing 7 units at once. It takes a little while, especially if you're only like doing it like an hour at a time and you're spending a lot of time talking and doing other stuff and shit. Anyway, awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great day. Be good to somebody. Be good to yourself. Just be good. Yeah. We'll talk to you later. Bye.